All right, greetings everyone. So Matt Dixon here, and thank you very much for joining. Some of you guys received some very interesting emails around lunchtime today, at least lunchtime West Coast. So appreciate you guys being on. You might be watching this as a recording, but today is, I hope, a very exciting session. Next week we're going to go through the meaning behind the bike sessions. Actually, next week I'm going to be at the Pro Camp, and then the week following I'm going to go through the meaning with the bike sessions and give you some context, some training. But today is really a landmark meetings with Matt, and really the start, as we talk about here, of the next chapter of Purple Patch. I'm going to do 3 things today, and at the end of this discussion, after 3 things that we'll go through, we'll have Q&A. And have a chance to ask any questions. While I am talking, I really encourage you to write your Q&A questions in the chat box so that both Kerry and Yvonne, who are joining us today, can help curate and make sure that they're ready with the armed with the questions. The reason that I wanted to do this is we've now been going as a company for 12 years, and we started in very humble beginnings, myself and no one else, in a studio apartment in San Francisco. And over the last decade or so, we've grown and we've evolved and we've learned and we've made mistakes, and we've had some really good success in building something that Kelly and I are really proud of. But we find ourselves now, not by accident, but by design, in really this start of the next chapter. And the whole reason for doing this is not selfishly for Kelly and I's amusement, but for you guys in the picture here and well beyond. You guys are athletes in our community. And we thought it was really appropriate to, as soon as we could, share our vision, really go into details on how that vision is going to hopefully impact you guys to make it a richer experience. And basically today, let this serve as an invitation to come on the journey with you. We want to bring you in. We want to take you on the journey. We want to make this Purple Patch a richer experience. I start with one very important question, which is, where's Paul? But outside of that conversation, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through 3 main components, which is the vision for Purple Patch in 2019 beyond. So to give you some context, and we're going to talk about individual coaching, one-to-one coaching. We'll make them very distinct. And then thirdly, we're going to talk about what we announced today, Purple Patch Squad, and give you some context. And so those will be the 3 things. I think as we start this conversation, we have to start with something that is our whole reason for being at Purple Patch, which is our mission. And we live by this. We spent a lot of time, and I think it rings true with our focus on education, but a real vision and mission for Purple Patch is to empower and educate every human being to reach their athletic potential. And this is through the lens that via athletic potential, you ultimately reach your human potential. Now you notice that triathlon isn't a part of that. Triathlon is our DNA, but our real mission behind this company is to help people, whatever your pursuit, thrive, enjoy life more, have more Purple Patch moments in your life. And the reason that this mission came to be is that it was really born out of originally my deep belief that there was a better way to train for triathlons. Many of you guys know my background with chronic fatigue and a pretty failed attempt at a professional triathlon career in many ways, but really taking stock and believing that there was a better way to approach triathlons. And knowing that what we've done over the last decade plus has not been mainstream. In fact, it's been polarizing, and we are as a company quite proud to be disruptors, to really, if you are going to decide to do things a different way, it's going to create friction, and hopefully ultimately friction for the good. And I believe that we have been a positive influence in the performance world, but we have big aspirations to let it continue. And so we are here, and now when we look at ourselves, we've got some effective products that are thoughtful for a wide scope of performance-minded individuals. But the honest opinion of ourselves is we have not arrived at our destination. We have still not been successful to the element we want. If we really want to continue to evolve the way people think about endurance sports in their life and human performance globally, we have to evolve as a company, and we have to help people activate their own potential. And while we have, from the external view, and perhaps we're our own worst critics, achieved a lot of success as a company, we still feel like we can do better from a community standpoint, and tying our athletes that now span every continent in the world together and really becoming, and I hate this phrase, but a tribe, a really close-knit community that has a reason for being a part of our community. And ultimately, I think that we can do an even better job of helping you bring more purple patch moments into your life and learn more and grow and stretch yourselves more. And this is where, with that context, we launch into 2019, because our future vision really does start with a physical space in San Francisco. And I think it's really important that I explain the context behind the physical space. Before we do that, we have to talk about our methodology. And this is really important because the physical space bleeds this methodology. You will not be able to walk into the physical space without participating in what is very much our belief system, and that's the pillars of performance. Everyone here on the call knows this, that we have a mindset that when you think about whether it's pro, whether it's a busy executive, whether it's someone that's just a fitness enthusiast, when we get the recipe right between a blend of appropriate endurance training with integrated strength, the backbone of nutrition, and supporting recovery, people accelerate. They accelerate every time they improve. It's about getting into that performance zone over a sustained period. But I think it's important for us to remember that those pillars of performance, they're not a part of the plan. They're not mutually exclusive. They are the plan. They are everything. And this should be, and for us, will ever growing be, a way of living when we think about performance-wise for every purple patch athlete, but also every purple patch coach. So when we talk about coaching, I want you to remember the why when I talk about how our conversation should be structured going forward from a coach to athlete standpoint. And it should encompass performance across all of your life. So I've made no secret of it. Outside of my pros, I don't have any real interest of having people achieve success if it comes at the expense of the other components of their life, their health, their work, their family and relationships. Our whole mission is integration. We want our methodology to help you to improve in sport, but it must also be the tide that rises the boat of great health, great performance in the workplace, including if you're a stay-at-home parent, and ultimately bring out the best version of self that you can bring to the people that matter in your life. And this is authentic, and it's something that we talk about every single day and every single week at Purple Patch. And so it begins with the center. And so why are we building a center? Why would we do something so foolish as to build a brick and mortar space when we can be nimble and fresh and online and remote? Well, I think the first part of this, I've done this diagram, and this is actually, by the way, that the diagram in the bottom right of the screen there is some mock-ups of the original mock-ups of the center. This is actually the space. It looks like a cow shed at the moment. It will look pretty different by this midsummer. But the center itself is really going to act in many ways as our spiritual home. It is our hub of coaching methodology. And it goes without saying, it's obvious that it's going to be a wonderful venue for the very lucky people that live in San Francisco with us. They're going to be able to perform training there. They'll be able to visit. It will be their home base. But it's also the place that is our living laboratory, a place that we will generate our methodology and continue to refine and improve. I also think, by the way, that I think it's really nice when you are coaching people remotely, for everyone, whether you're living in Dubai or New York or London or Kansas, to know that the training that you're following has very authentic, hands-on, genuine coaching taking place at the same time. And so The most basic reason for having this center is it's a hub, it's a spiritual home. But we add to that then the next layer out, we see it as becoming a destination, an opportunity for you guys anywhere to come and visit us, to participate in Purple Patch programming, but also have the capacity for us to host camps, clinics, further development of our coaching team that are also geographically remote, that they can come in and improve as coaches, to spend time with myself and Paul in person, and to have a place to even coaches that are not Purple Patch that can come and participate in the programming to further their own development. Because if our mission is to educate and empower, this becomes a destination to get some of that university-like schooling and practical in-person coaching that so many people need, both to tie emotionally, but also practically to further their improvement. So it's a destination as well. Great, but I live in Dubai and I don't have the opportunity to visit San Francisco. Well, the third reason, and perhaps the most important reason, is that we're designing this center as a center of production as well. So it's not just a place where athletes come to train, but we envision it, and we have a very lofty vision, for us to be able to generate high-value professional content out of the center to further enhance the remote coaching experience. And that is in both in terms of sporting content and educational content. So that many of the rooms in this are actually, for lack of a better phrase, TV studios. One of our bike studios is going to be set up with high-end acoustics, high-end lighting that we can generate content out of with video production ability. We have a recording studio to take our podcast and our soon-to-be television podcast to another level. And we can generate seamlessly and very easily high-end, short, educational videos for you to enjoy at home. And the reason for that is to do a couple of things. To empower our coaches to enhance the remote coaching experience, but to optimize the remote coaching experience that you have. So if we fast forward a couple of years' time, imagine a scenario where you're at your bike trainer home and alone, but you can participate live in the bikes class that I'm teaching. That's the vision that we have for this studio. It's going to take us a journey to get there. It's not going to be ready in the summer, but that's where we want to take it. And whether it's circuit classes, running classes, performance yoga that we're integrating, or our bike classes, we want the center to be a center of production that can enhance your experience where you're living at home. So this is what we're looking to achieve with the center. As I talked about before, just very quickly, it's a living laboratory. So it's a place that we can test and improve. I think everybody knows that we have a continual mindset for evolution. By coming and participating in the center, we don't want athletes to just come in and just take a bike class. We want them to have a pillars of performance experience, while we have a recovery room in there, consulting services, orthopedic massage. We have a genuine focus across strength and conditioning, endurance training, and all of the supporting elements, so that by participating in the center, in person or remotely, you are living by the methodology and belief system that we believe is so important. We have a production studio for our training. We want to stream and generate content as we can go through. We want to have every one of you, ultimately, when we realize our dream, to have a more intimate sense of being a part of our community and to be coached in a more authentic and ultimately more effective way. And ultimately, I think it's really important for us is, as we have our team of coaches continue to develop, empower them to become absolutely the best coaches that they can, so that they can fulfill their potential. And I think that's really important. So our vision is to have it from, yes, triathletes, but also expanding to all enthusiasts that can help maximize performance, and this is without accident, within a time-starved life. Because outside of our professional athletes, the time-starved life is a really critical component as we go through. So from my standpoint, just to finish up on the center as we go forth and we build this, who is a Purple Patch athlete? Who is someone that's going to participate? Well, we have executives, of course, very busy executives, both triathletes and non-triathletes. We have our squad of professional athletes. We have triathletes that are podium chasers, that are age groupers that are looking to qualify or even podium at the World Championship or Ironman and half Ironman events. We have an ever-growing family of people that are very performance-driven that don't actually participate in the sport of triathlon. We have my AARP anarchists, which I'm really proud of, the guys that are maturing, that are continuing to find and refine performance as they grow. And we have very busy working men and women that are just looking to integrate sport into their life. These are the family. This is what is a Purple Patch athlete for us. And we want this to grow and evolve continually. But the common thread amongst all of these people, and the only thing that I care about, is the desire to improve. Because if we have that, and then we can apply and tailor the pillars of performance to it. And outside of a very little thimbleful of our amateur athletes and our pro squad, I think the common thread across all of these people is time-starved. The vast majority of people, and the people that I love to work with and we love to work with as a team, are people that are looking to integrate sport and performance into a really busy life to hopefully enhance life. And that's really our vision that we look through. Of course, our responsibility that we're keenly aware of, the outcome should be results. So this isn't just a club. This is something that you're participating in so that you achieve. And we take that burden on with both pride as well as a real sense of responsibility to help you facilitate your own success. And that, for me, is something that we're incredibly proud of. We're not niche in terms of who we help, but in fact, we can apply our methodology to a broad range of goals, levels, and ages. And I am keenly happy and proud of just taking one of these, our pro athletes, that we have a lot of male athletes that are really successful, but we have an equal number of female athletes. And we have athletes that participate with us and go on our performance journeys at the world-class level for many, many years. And that, for me, is what makes such a unique, bizarre, strange, funny, and cool community for Purple Patch. And so this is where we're going. From a timeline, because I know that I'll be asked the question, construction has started. They're digging it up. They're going. I think that the facility will be ready in midsummer. And I think that we'll do a soft launch, a friends and family launch, make sure that we get our services and products right for an early fall unveiling of the facility. And as with everything we do, we'll try and learn, we'll try and improve, and we want to bring you guys on the journey. And the reason that we tell you this today is that we want to hear from you. Over the coming weeks, we're going to be asking you guys for feedback. What would you like to see in the center? What are some of the components? How can we make it more special for you? Because the way that our vision for the 2019 products in a big part has come from you guys and the feedback that we've gathered from our Purple Patch athletes. So as we build the center, it makes sense that this is not a Purple Patch center. This is our community center for you guys. And that's the way that Kelly and I want to lead this thing. So part two of the presentation, with the context of the center, moves into the email that some of you received today with program evolution. So what is program evolution that we're looking for? We're going to go through two things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is coaching. And as we know, when we talk about this, we have a saying at Purple Patch: you're either growing or evolving, or you're dying. I never feel like we can be in a static place as a company in terms of methodology, programming, or how we serve people. And it's through this mindset that we've grown. So the mission in our coaching product, our one-to-one coaching product, is if we coach, we coach. But what I would like to achieve in our coaching product, which we are 95% of the way there, and I believe we can still improve it 5%, is that every program of every athlete that is coached on an individual level, if I went as the head coach to any one of those programs and I opened it up in their platform or their app, it would be unmistakably Purple Patch. It could not be any other coach that had written that program. It is a Purple Patch program. So that's one part of the mission. But in balance to that, even though I'm opening up any random program, every single athlete has an undeniably custom and integrated program. And so it is appropriate for them and integrated into their life so it's sustainable. This is the mission that we're looking for in our coaching. So how do we achieve it? Well, the first is, of course, at the most baseline level, you have a coach with a one-to-one athlete standpoint. So let's use one of our coaches, Nancy. Nancy is coaching you, Jimmy, and you have the relationship. I believe globally and fundamentally that anyone in life is most successful when they have someone to lead, they have a support network of peers, and they have someone to mentor them. And so that's at the heart of how we've set up our Purple Patch coaching. The coach is leading the athlete, but then in addition, the coach is surrounded in a team-based setting. So when we talk to athletes and we talk about coaching by team, this is what we mean. We have a system set up that we're ever evolving, and we spent a lot of time over the last month saying, how do we set this up for each individual coach to be successful, where they have peer-to-peer support. So rather than Nancy being on an island and coaching, she can actually have a two-way resource to help her other team members to help them create the most effective programming for each one of their athletes. But in addition to that, we have to have oversight and a support system from a head of coaching, someone whose sole responsibility and job is to empower, educate, and support the coach to be as successful as they can be. And so in that case, that's Matt Hurley. Many of you guys have met or worked with Matt, but Matt's sole position currently is to oversee and support the coaches, not in a dictatorial way, but to empower the most effective coaching and the best support system that we can. And then ultimately, we have myself and Paul Buick, who help create the methodology, help support Matt, and help support the team. So a system of escalation. So this is how we set up at the most basic level our individual coaching. We know, and the thing that gives me pain, is to ever imagine that one of our coaches is an island without support and without oversight, positive oversight. The last thing I want to have is a coach with a Purple Patch t-shirt on and I have no insight into what they're doing. And so we take this system and we say, how do we create that? What are the positions or what are the roles for both myself and Paul, and at the moment, Matt Hurley, the head of coaching? So our job, our role, when we think about our individual coaching, is to support the coaches, so provide guidance and troubleshoot problems with an athlete. Because as coaches, we need sounding boards. Which way should we go? This athlete's having fatigue. How should we actually navigate it? Everything that you might expect where we create roadblocks or decision points, it's much better if we can be there with a little bit of expertise and a tad of wisdom to actually help them create the best products for ultimately what we all care about, which is at the bottom of this diagram, the athlete's success. We're also there to support the athletes, to make sure that we can have purview and oversight into athlete success across populations and what their goals are, and ensure that that athlete is thriving with the coaches that they're actually designated with. We also should evolve the coach's knowledge base, education. So much in the same way as education is important for the athlete population at Purple Patch, it's also critically important to empower the coaches and help them continue to learn and evolve the Purple Patch way. We set the path and the methods. An interesting point, and I've talked about this on other discussions, which I think is really interesting and people scratch their head. After 2016, when Tim Reed won the World Championship and we had undeniably the best season we had had so far, Paul and I sat down and attacked our methodology. And we looked for holes and we made the largest changes in our methodology after our most successful season. Because if we got complacent and we thought that we had got the code cracked, we'd probably fail. And that's why I think that we've had continued success in 2017 and 2018, because we're continuing to make positive evolutions in the methodology that permeates all Purple Patch program and certainly individual coaching. We want to facilitate personal development in our coaches. Our coaches, like anyone, are aspirational, enthusiastic, dedicated, but they want to grow. And a part of our job is to help create the pathways that they can grow, they can evolve in the areas that they want to. And so we try and set up a system to help them grow as individuals, as human beings, and ultimately as coaches. And then finally, hold the team to account, of course, on level of service that we expect at Purple Patch and the level of feedback that the athlete's getting. So this is how we set up coaching. And I think it's just important. I tell you this today more as insight because we don't spend much time talking about, hey, this is work as an organization. So while we're telling you the vision, say, this is how individual coaching works. This is what we do as a team. We spend a lot of time as our team. So I hope that it's helpful. So from your point as an athlete, as an individually coached athlete, we have the same system, but where are these coaches drawing from? So that we know where the customization comes. Well, we have, as we talked about with methodology, we have a uniform methodology of season progression. You guys know that. You know that we go through postseason. We have a prep phase now into a build phase of work and then race specific. We have cycles of training and rhythms of training that exist in the San Francisco squad, but also extend across our individually coached athletes all the way up to the pro level. There's no fundamental difference between the way that we think about seasonal development and career development. So we have a very distinct framework of which then the coach can draw from and tailor to the athlete's goals, their level, and their races that they're looking to do. And so the roadmap comes out of this body of work that we create. We then have a central repository or body of workouts that I create across all athletes. And those workouts then are taken and prescribed to the athlete and customized. So it's very familiar, but it's customized to the athlete. And in addition to that, then they have free reign to add appropriate workouts that maybe are not in that body, because we want to create the bumpers of success, but we don't want to be maniacal to the details that they don't have the ability to express their own personality and beliefs. But when we have the cycle of feedback, of course, they get the chance to draw in and add their own workouts into the library of the main library of Matt Dixon workouts, if appropriate, and we love them. And so from that body, it becomes the brain trust. Basically, the central bank of both methodology and workouts that the coach can then draw from, apply the training program, and the athlete can go and receive, provide feedback, and therefore hits the feedback loop. So this is how our coaching operates, but our goal in 2019 is to drive the details and radically improve the experience. And we want to have capacity to be able to do it. With that, at the start of this conversation, I talked about the pillars of performance. And I said every athlete and every coach should live by the pillars of performance. And that means that going forward, and I think to some extent, to a pretty good extent, but nowhere near enough for me, but also for my team, do we live by this enough on an individual athlete basis. So when we have conversations, and I'm going to share this slide with all of you guys, the Purple Patch community, our conversations shouldn't be anchored around how's it going, how are the workouts, but we should be tracking and living and monitoring and evolving all of these components. And that becomes a critical component: endurance, strength, nutrition, and recovery. So it creates the framework of education, feedback, and an ongoing relationship between coach and athlete. And this is the standard that we are setting ourselves from here on, today, from here on. And the coaching team, we spent a lot of time talking about it, and we're ready to evolve and grow as we come on to this side. So, a little water break. So, with this in mind, we have a big transition. Section 3 of this discussion is the transition and the sunsetting from custom programming to a brand new product, Purple Patch Squad. What is Purple Patch Squad? So rather than talking too much about the details of the why behind it, because we emailed, I want to try and tonight give you a real flavor of how we see the Purple Patch Squad working. After this, we'll go to questions, by the way. So this, believe it or not, ties into our centered discussion. And I think by the end of this next 10 minutes, everyone will appreciate it. It's a brand new program. It's going to be launching over the next couple of months. And the mission or the goal behind it is to serve the needs of the broader Purple Patch community. So I'm going to go down and break it down and talk through the different components of how we set up the squad program and how we're going to go through. So firstly, your training plan. And let me just pause before I dive in. The mindset of design of this product was under two main channels. The first was, where do we need to be going as a company to serve you guys, our Purple Patch community? And the second, as many of you guys will know, was conversations with you guys, the athletes. And we spent a considerable amount of time with too many phone calls to imagine, and thank you for you guys that participated, really digging into where are your pain points, what do you love and what do you not love about the products, what are we missing, what would you like to see? And we created a bank account worth of information and knowledge to actually draw from and feedback to actually say, how can we craft and how can we evolve? And it took in everything into account that we could. And out of it, we have created this, which I think will serve needs. So the first is your training program. So the way that we intend to deliver the training program is there will be a synchronization on the Purple Patch Squad program that will be aligned with the actual squad sessions that are happening on the same week, on the same day in San Francisco. My Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday swims, our bike classes that will be happening in the center, our run sessions that will be trained, and even our strength and conditioning. And those are going to make up at the baseline level, those are going to make up the fabric of the training week. And they're going to be the key sessions. We then intend to arm you with, per discipline, a few workouts that you can moderate or manage your overall individual load by applying, self-managing and applying some supporting workouts. And so for some of you guys, you might just be hitting the same session that I'm doing on a Tuesday. You might be able to click and drag the workout around and move it to the day that's appropriate for you, but you're doing basically the same session that my poor folks are doing in San Francisco with me beating on top of you. And so, but you'll be able to customize and support your load with the supporting sessions that will be phase-specific and very simple and repeatable. We'll provide you with phase-specific strength that will be video-enabled, that you'll be able to apply at least twice a week. And then the question is, that all sounds fine, but hang on, I'm racing an Ironman. And so what we have is a bank account of race builds, really no similar in many ways to the race builds that are applicable in current custom programming, that you'll be able to apply, that are distance specific, Olympic distance, half Ironman, Ironman, and also specific relative to your level, your time available to train, etc., that you'll be able to apply, and it will draw you off of the main San Francisco schedule, and it will bring you into your race. Once it finishes, it'll automatically regenerate and move you back onto the San Francisco squads. You'll also be able to, for people that ask, yes, you will be able to integrate other races that maybe aren't your key races, but just as we do now with individual coaching or with current custom programming, you'll be able to deviate, go and do a race, come back on to the river, as we like to call it. And so there's a baseline plan that is manageable and suitable for you. Great, that sounds fine, normal, nothing that exciting there. But then the evolution starts to occur. How are we going to deliver this plan? So we're going to be delivering this training via the same platform that our individually coached athletes and my pro squad utilize. It's not Training Peaks, it's called Today's Plan. And the reason that we choose Today's Plan over Training Peaks is basically it's a radically more powerful tool for both communication, tracking and monitoring, and also enabling to do some of the stuff that we want to do within this program and our individually coaching program. So it's going to be delivered via Today's Plan. And what that enables us to do is open up the world of logging and tracking and some other components that I want to go through now. All of your workouts, when appropriate, all of your workouts will be built as structured workouts. You guys have been asking for this. We're going to deliver on it. Structured workouts so that your run workouts can upload to a Garmin or an Apple Watch or a Polar Watch and can actually take you through the workout. You can also seamlessly and automatically sync to many of the apps that are out there, Zwift, TrainerRoad, Full Gas, Rouvy, those other workouts, so that now you can execute the workouts that are appropriate, that are done on the trainer or run outside, that we want to have structured, where they can be structured, and you can go and execute them in the environment that you want to do them without touching the button. I will add that those workouts are also built with coaching commentary embedded, so that when you're on, let's use Zwift as an example, you'll get very annoying comments from me, sometimes serious coaching, sometimes full of dictionary and very English humor, telling you to stop being lazy and start pulling your thumb out, but very purple patch commentary to help you navigate through the workout while you're doing it. Every workout that we deliver in the squad product will be delivered with text, what the workout is, of course, structured so that it's synchronized to your ad, but also within Today's Plan, we have the ability to integrate a video tutorial with the workout. And this is really important for me because I always talk about the athlete executing the workout as intended. So what we intend to do is to generate a video per workout in which it explains the why behind the workout, what it should feel like, some of the pitfalls or mistakes that we see athletes make, and how to execute it as intended. So you're not only getting the workout, you're getting the understanding of why. The other components of Today's Plan, tracking and logging. So now you'll be able to set up and upload your data, your power files, and everything else that you would want to have. You have the ability to track subjective data such as your sleep, your mood, your nutrition, your weight, your soreness in your muscles, and that can be overlaid with the objective data. And we've set up a Purple Patch specific dashboard for you to track your progress over the longitudinal line. So you have tracking and logging. And then finally, I think the really key component for you is logging subjective wellness. So for you to be able to keep track of those components like sleep and see them in a really easily accessible pattern so that we can align, this is what's happening physically, but when was I sick? When did I go through a slump? And can you see patterns that go through? So very different than now where we only have the ability to broadcast the workouts to you. We really want to try and heighten the experience of workout delivery for you. In support of that, we have education of support, and this is evolving with the Purple Patch Squad. And in fact, we're not going to pause on it. We're going to get going on this on February 1st. So The first is with the development of our new systems that I'll talk to. You'll have a landing page for yourself that will be your platform or your user guide. And that is going to have very detailed, very simple, but detailed support to help you manage your program, to ensure you're making good decisions and to help offset any of the confusion that could occur with any product. So you're going to have a really robust user experience that's completely redesigned for this product. Twice a week, we want the venue for you guys to have support and guidance from us. So a couple of times a week, we're going to have Zoom meetings, and our coaches are going to man this for you guys, that you can come and ask any question that you want to help in support of your performance. For many of you guys that have been in sort of meetings with Matt in the prior generations, it's kind of like that, but it's going to be manned by our coaches. We'll have technical support, which is if the program's broken, if you're having issues, we're obviously going to be there to have your back on that. And then by demand, you guys have asked for it, we're going to have meetings with Matt. They're going to come back. So I'm going to be a big part of this program, not just in terms of building every single workout. That's my task. All of the videos, that's my task. But we're going to make very frequent meetings with Matt sessions that are going to be subject specific. So the office hours are to come and to have really social get-togethers, have fun together as a team. We can have discussions, answer questions, do some groupthink. But these will be more very specific and calendared out topics, whether it's diving into the mature female athlete or nutrition and hydration, but very specific topics with opportunities for Q&A. And those will be at least bi-monthly, so twice a month, not every 2 months, but twice a month at least. If not more. And then for some of you guys, because you've asked for it, the ability to actually say, I need more support. I want to have an individual session that I plan my season. I want to have in the future, not in April, but in the future, a chance for video analysis. And so having some components to really add some supporting elements to it. So this is the concept behind it. Don't worry, you don't have to write it all down. This is all forthcoming. But tonight, I just wanted to give you how we envision this product happening. Oh, and I forgot one more thing. My bad. How did I forget this? Community and racing. We're obviously having the private Facebook page. The way we envision this is really increasing the vibrancy of this. And the way that I like to see it is because we have so many of the squad at certain times of the year doing pretty similar workouts, appropriate workouts, we want to almost have a water cooler session. What is that Dixon, that bastard, doing to me? How was that? And also having some group learning of how we do it. We're increasing the number of training camps specifically designed for club members. We have 2 this year in San Francisco or just outside of San Francisco. Going to be manned by myself, Paul, and the Purple Patch coaches. So we'll have 6, 7, 8 coaches at every training camp. We're bringing 5 coaches to the Hawaii training camp this year. And so it's going to be a pretty different evolution in our training camps. We're going to formalize around the bigger events where people go. And we're going to send our coaches to more events. And we're going to formalize that structure to really build up a lot of support in the community that happens so that we can have a meeting of the minds and a meeting of the athletes and a meeting of the coaches. And we want to further enhance our ability to connect you guys both geographically as well as an online community as a part of the Purple Patch team. And of course, we need to do a much better job of apparel. And that's part of our strategy that we'll do to enable you to wear the badge of honor. And I think we've done a low to medium job of that so far. It's a big focus for us over the coming year. So that's the concept. But how does it tie into the center? Well, we get this up and running, we get it nailed, we open the center. And of course, this is the natural pathway for future video content of the center. And that's how it ties in of now all of the workouts that you can do on your bike class in 2020, if all goes well, are as that coming out of the center. And you can participate in a Peloton-esque way, but it's coached, it's structured, and it's progressive. And you can put up with me abusing you and piping my special brand of music into your home. In order for this to happen, we've decided that we have to build a brand new platform. But the good thing is it's going to be simple, effective, and it's almost finished. So we're going to have a squad page, your own individual squad page that will be almost your home page of your website. It'll be an absolutely brand new website. It'll be ready over the coming weeks, actually. We're pretty close to it. And that should be your hub of where you go to. So you'll have a very streamlined, very simple, single sign-on for everything in Purple Patch, whether it's going to get your training plan at today's plan, whether it's signing into education, you'll have to do it once and it's a single place. For any other services, we'll have a very slick, it looks very nice, it's looking very good, sign up for other services, etc. From there, from your squad page, you'll be able to hop seamlessly without signing in to your own training program that will be at today's plan, of which you'll receive your workouts, you'll track your subjective wellness, you have your dashboard for tracking longitudinally, you have your training log, and of course you get your video tutorials. And one click once you've set it up once, it will go to all of the apps that we talk about. So it goes to the Ruvi, to Full Gas, to Zwift, to Wahoo, to Garmin, everything that you can imagine with the vast majority of the workouts that are in today's plan. We have a reorganized and ever-growing Purple Patch Education Library, of which we intend to do two things. The first is to create an ever-welcoming and more logical way to go and search for content, but also for our coaches and us to drive content to you at most appropriate times. When you are getting to race, you should be receiving tutorials on setting up for a race, how to set up a transition, what to do with travel and sleeping. And we intend to push that to you and drive it to you as it is appropriate. And of course, straight from there, in a very similar way, you'll have your calendar of when the office hours are, when the next meetings with Matt is, how to go and find previous editions. So with one click, you can just join without it being a myriad of emails and complexity. And then finally, you'll have, as I mentioned before, a squad resource center or knowledge base where with anything, whether it's how to set up and troubleshoot with today's plan, how to synchronize Wahoo, how to manage my schedule and program, you'll have a knowledge center and a knowledge base that will be organized in a very professional and simple way so you can find the information that you want to have. And ultimately, for you guys that are San Francisco based, or if you're visiting San Francisco, it should seamlessly link that you can schedule class, schedule services, schedule a strength session, schedule orthopedic massage, one from Straight Place. And so this is what we are almost done with and building. And this is why today we wanted to give you the vision and say this is coming. And over the coming months, we're going to be transitioning to this platform. And by a really sort of April time, having everyone that's on the squad be on this new program. And so with that said, I hope that it gives you, over the course of 45 minutes, 15 minutes of vision, 15 minutes of one-to-one coaching, 15 minutes of the squad. That's where we're at as a company. That's our state of the union, pardon the pun, with today's political climate. But Kerry, my guess is that there might be at least one question there.
Yeah, there's a couple. And I do apologize. My internet's a little unstable. So if I fade in and out, I will just keep asking the question. The first question was from Tristan. How many weeks in advance will workouts be given with Squad?
With Squad, it will be a rolling 2-week window. But your race build, you'll be able to see all the way to your race for planning, because we feel like that's important. And the race builds will be between, depending on the distance, between 8 and 10 weeks to get you ready. So if you are doing Ironman Arizona, you would be able to see your 10-week journey going into Ironman Arizona. But with the squad sessions, we want to keep it to a rolling 2-week average.
Great. Could you give for somebody who might be newer to the structured training in today's plan, can you give a concrete example of how this would work with an individual, that now that there's some self-management involved? So when you would implement the race plan, do you fill in your own supporting sessions, et cetera?
Yeah, I think most of that is forthcoming. So what I want to try and do today is not get too granular on the weeds of the mechanics, but I'll give you the headline news. Not to dodge the question, by the way, but I think that once you start going down the rabbit holes of the mechanics without being able to visually show it to people, it feels remote. But from a self-management standpoint, each athlete will have the anchor sessions, and within those anchor sessions, the one that are the most important within any given week. And on the side of the screen, there'll basically be a library of supporting swims, bikes, and runs. And we're in the build phase of training right now. So those who can be sessions that are just easily applicable, you just pull them across and boom, it's right there for you. And so you can apply it. But from a race build, the race build will be a concrete, complete, you don't have to do anything body of 10 weeks of workouts. And on the week that you have to apply, there will be a message, hey, apply your race build, you're 10 weeks out of your race. You've put in your Ironman Arizona as our working example. It's whatever it will be, August 30th or whatever it is, it's time to apply your race build. You just go and pick the race build that's appropriate. It's an Ironman, I've got 12 hours a week to train, and this is what I'm gonna do, and boom, and it populates every workout that you do. And then you'll have the flexibility to say, oh, you know what, I don't wanna ride on that day, I wanna move it around, but it will be very clearly designated key and supporting sessions. So I hope that that's at least a quick overview. From a structured workout standpoint, your workout that you'll receive, so I talked about going to the apps, it's just a link through between whatever third-party apps, let's use one that's popular, Zwift. You'll have your account on Zwift, that's fine. It doesn't matter whether it's Trainer Road or Wahoo or any of the others, but your workout will be delivered with the video tutorial, the text, and then it will be built as what's called structured workout. So a programmatic way of 10-minute warm-up, et cetera, et cetera. And so once you've done the connection, it just appears in your Zwift account. You just go to Zwift and it's Thursday's workout, and it's a strength endurance 5 by 5 minutes. And when you're executing that workout, you will have individually prescribed training zones and intensity and cadence, etc. And on screen, you will see, hey, don't ride like a donkey dipped in cement, stay supple, etc., etc. I should point out as well, Kerry, the one thing that we have is all of the workouts on today's plan will also enable us to deliver your own personal heart rate zones, power zones, and pace zones. So rather than being asked to ride hard or zone 4, it will say you should ride between whatever your custom zone is. So now you'll have that specificity. That's for all athletes. You don't have to have third-party apps. That's in today's plan.
Great. Is individual coaching going away? And I'm assuming by that question, meaning a coach assigned to you via the squad. Individual coaching, one-to-one coaching that we talked about today is a major focus of ours. So purchasing coaching to be led by one coach. If we're coaching, we're coaching from now on. So there's one product for coaching, and it's either coaching with myself, Paul Buick, or one of our team of assistants. Under squad, are you designated a individual Purple Patch coach? Absolutely not. No, that's going away. So today's plan, premium subscription included in the cost, or do we need to set up our own?
No, we set it up for you. You don't do anything, and we incur the cost.
You talked in earlier meetings with, I'm sorry, I think my internet's unstable. You talked in earlier meetings with Matt about going through a 3-week cycle of build, active recovery. Is that philosophy still holding true with the squad?
100%. In fact, it will be living and breathing, and within the squad, you will be designated, this is the type of week, this is the personality, and it will express itself. It holds true across both individual coaching and the squad. Yeah.
If somebody already has today's plan premium account, should they delete it or keep it?
We will we're getting pretty granular here. No, and we will, with our individually coached athletes, we just take the account over. With the squad, I have to get an answer to that, but the chances are no, and we will just take over the billing. And that today's plan are very good with that, with us.
Okay. What part of San Francisco is the training center?
It's in the downtown side of the Mission, between the Mission and Potrero, for people that are there. So it's very near, it is, if people want to know where it is, it's 268 Alabama Street is the official address.
And will the center also include sports psychology? Do you envision that?
I do envision that.
Great. How will post and preseason tie in with squad workouts for athletes in the Southern Hemisphere?
It's going to be very challenging. It's a problem. As we start with the Southern Hemisphere, it's going to take some months for us to be able to flip it for them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of our question marks. Okay.
Currently, the training is scaled based on your fitness level, and you did speak to this a little bit. How will this be done in the future, since it sounds like everyone will be on the same plan?
Yeah, it's this squad. I think that people have to, in many ways, think about it as a cleanse from what has been done before and a completely fresh product. This squad is based on. I've built the philosophy of this squad based on the philosophy of the people that are in our bike classes, that are in our run sessions, and are in our swim. And it's quite interesting, if you're not in there, that I think we have over-engineered the tailoring of the sessions relative to that. So within the squad sessions, there will be scalable components for you to be able to execute it. But when someone comes to my bike class, they're doing the same bike class because there's no reason to actually scale it. So it's going to be a different way of scaling. Let's call it that.
I'm a custom programming athlete. With the new squad, will I need to do anything, or will my planning continue right into the new system?
You're, the one thing, thank you for that question. There's a couple of things that you have to do. This is going to be, when we thought about this transition, and let me preface this, change is hard. And it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter whether you're moving from a terrible city that you don't like to live to your paradise that you've always wanted to live. It's really hard. Change is hard for everyone. And our goal in designing the transition plan as we have is, from the athlete standpoint, to try and mitigate or minimize that stress and change as much as we can and look after the athlete's needs. There are some really important actionable things that current custom programming athletes have to do, but what we have designed it to be is not a hard stop. We're not doing a hard Brexit, pardon pun. So as we go through, we want to give people the information right now, but the one thing, and then from February 1st onwards, nothing will effectively change for your custom programming over the month of February, the month of March, and into April for some people. Effectively, custom programming just carries on, apart from a couple of key things. The first is we're bringing the squad education, which is enhanced and improved with office hours. We're integrating that into it. So your education support is great. But the one thing that we need, that we will lose, is we need to have any race events that you want programmed in over the next 2 or 3 months, February, March, April, and maybe up to Santa Rosa Ironman for those folks that are doing it. You have to input those races into the portal. You've got to do it. Or if you're not sure how, email us on plansupport@purplepatchfitness.com and tell us. And we need those races by January 21st or so. If we don't have those races, we cannot program for the next couple of months because we're turning off our plan engine, our system to manage. So in those couple of months, there's going to be a relatively minimal ability to make seismic change to your race plan. So if you come in February and say, oh, I'm doing Ironman Texas, we are unable in our systems then to build your programming. So we are philosophically moving to squad while you're still going to receive your program and all of the services of custom programming, and we're going to increase education, but we need to have your races so that we can go through and not make a mistake on people's builds and make sure that at least your races, if you don't have your key races picked for the year and you don't know what you're doing, or your key races at the end of the year, it doesn't matter so much. But any races you have over the next couple of months, please make sure you do that. And then what I think is appropriate, what we feel like is appropriate, is like, hey, we're making this change. I mentioned change is hard. So what we decided to do is to move to club pricing immediately. And so any billing cycle that you guys are on past February 1st, we're going to flip to the new pricing, which is obviously a significant savings. So everyone moves to pricing. Custom programming effectively carries on, at least the meat and potatoes of it. And then what we'll do is the system is ready and today's plan is set up with all of those operational questions that people have, we'll move people across. But the one group of people that we do not want to mess with and we don't want to disrupt are the people that have their key races in March or in April and extend into Santa Rosa. So we're not going to force you to change your whole programming and move 3 weeks before Ironman Texas. You guys will go on, and you guys that are the racers in the early part of the year with your A key races, we're going to nurture you through, keep your plan going on that, and then make the transition. For everyone else, we're going to make the transition incrementally and seamlessly. And all we ask for on that is, hey, we're doing this together. We think it's going to be great, but can you really try and cooperate? You're going to get a lot of information and knowledge from us, and fast forward a couple of months, it's going to be great, but we know it's a difficult transition for everyone, including us.
And so just to clarify, if people have already put their races on the portal, they don't need to do any action at this point?
Don't need to do anything. They're great. Yeah, thank you for that clarification.
Okay. And then one question that I actually do know the answer, is there a pool at the new center?
There's not a pool at the new center. That was in the original plans, but that's a story for another day, but there is no pool. We do have plans to, not at opening, but down the line to put in a dual lane endless pool for video analysis and other stuff like that.
And parking?
There's a couple of things with parking. So the first is there's actually a wonderful shopping center that you can park at that's less than a block away. So for you guys that are in San Francisco that go to Shift or anything, the parking is at least as good, if not better than that. And then it meant for many people at the time of day that many people will be going there, it's not a problem. We have a small amount of parking, but not much.
Those are the questions that I have in the inbox. Oh, awesome. Here comes another one here. Let's see. Deborah wants to know if there will be a room for her to sleep in.
There is. It's the orthopedic massage room, and it's got a lovely electronic massage. And we'll have Deborah's pillow in the corner. We've got some really cool partnerships. So we've confirmed a partnership with SMI, which is Sports Medicine Institute. They do all of the performance programming for the Stanford teams. And a lot of actually shared athletes and clients, and they have wonderful manual and body work, and they're going to help support us with education, as well as, of course, having in-services with what we call orthopedic massage. And then we have a lot of other people that are involved. So I think you guys are going to like it. I just hope we don't mess it up. We won't.
And George says, thank you so much for the info. Looking forward to the improvements.
Thanks so much, guys. And my last saying is, as I started the conversation, you guys, for Kelly and I, this has not been done without a tremendous amount of thought, a tremendous amount of support from the whole of the Purple Patch team that have contributed so far. And we give you this today to hopefully help you see the vision, but also, as I started, as an invitation that we don't want to do this and say this is what's happening overall. We want to say, hey, let's build this together. Let's really make something meaningful and have a wonderful community. And so we hope that we can continue to do this to support you guys. And over the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of questions, some asks from you. But once you've digested this information tonight, you've read the emails, particularly if you're a current custom programming athlete, please read the emails and all of the FAQ at the bottom. It's a meaty document for you guys, because I know that many people like more information on this stuff. We're here to help. And if you come out of this to say, you know what, I'm custom programming and I'm not sure which path I want to go. If I want to give it a shot, go down squad, and it sounds great, and this is just the thing I'm looking for, or maybe this is the time, set up a call with us. We'll talk through, and we'll answer any questions. We can have a talk about your planning and what's best for you. We're happy to help, and we're not doing this in a vacuum. You guys are a big part of it. So thank you so far, and I'm really looking forward to the future weeks and months with you guys. All good stuff. Kerry, thank you very much. Yvonne, very much. And for you guys listening, all good stuff. Have a wonderful weekend. And my one last thing is, next week I'm at the Pro Camp, and what we're looking to do is share a whole bunch of insights from the Pro Camp. For the social media world, we'll do some fun stuff. For you guys, the athletes, I'm hoping to get some interviews and some videos to show how we execute and how we operate there at camp from more of an educational standpoint. So look forward to some of that stuff coming next week, guys. And until now, take care. Really appreciate it.